All right, sports fans, it's Joe Daniels here, your favorite horrible archer, aka Boy Gone Bag, coming to you today to show you how I make my bowstrings. It's a continuous loop string. I'm going to make one for my new 60-inch knock-to-knock Falcon recurve, which means we're going to take 4 inches off of that. The string itself will be about 56 inches. And I'm going to show you a few things that you need to know in order to do this. I'm not telling you to make your own strings. I'm just telling you how I do it. First, a few things you'll need is one, a beer, or two, or three. That's optional, of course. You're going to need a lighter. This is a torch, just as good. Maybe overkill, which is what I like to do. You're going to need scissors or an X-Acto knife. You're going to need wax. Now you can buy this, which is bowstring wax. You can get it online for like, I think this is like $8 for this little thing. Or you can use, you can go to the dollar store and get like 3 chapsticks. You know, it's up to you. Some people will say, oh, you can't use it. Well, I use it all the time. My strings hold up. What I really like using, and I'll be using this today, is Murray's 100% pure Australian beeswax. It's actually, it's like a hair conditioner, but you can get this at Acme. It's a little pricey, but for 4 ounces, no, it's $6. It's like $5.99 or something like that, maybe $6.49 with tax. Like I said, that's pricey. You can probably get it a little bit cheaper somewhere else in the neighborhood of about $5. Then you're going to need your braided fishing line. What do I use? Well, I use Spectra. I'm going to be using red and black. I'm going to make a multicolored string, and I'm going to use this, which I've already wound up for my servings. You'll need a Sharpie pen. You're going to need a tape measure, and you're going to need pliers. You also should probably use a little bit of super glue, and I think that's about it. Scissors, knife, something to burn the ends of the strings, usually the servings and stuff. Obviously, whatever you're going to use, if you're going to use Dacron string, I use braided fishing line. Can you use regular line? The answer is no. It'll stretch too much. This braided fishing line is known for not really stretching. The stretch is very minimal. As a matter of fact, my knots are what actually stretch, not the string itself. The string might stretch, I don't know. It's minimal. It's like you can't even measure it. What I want to do is I want to show you something here that I calculated. I never use more than, my bows, my recurve bows are, this new one is a 35 pound. I just ordered 40-pound limbs because that's what I really like to use. I could shoot that all day long and it feels very comfortable. I do have 45-pound recurves. I have, you know, self-made Malagabet bows that are long bows that go up to 51 pounds, but because of my shoulders, I'm not using more than 45 or 40 pounds. So all my recurves are 60 inches long. So the string's are going to be the same size. It's going to be 56 inches, and that will allow for a few twists, of course. And so the calculations that you need to know would be, when building a string, you want whatever pound the bow is, you want to multiply that by 4, and that's how strong your string has to be. So in my case, the string that I'm using, that I even use for my servings, I use the same thing. Most people will use like a thicker string, usually like 35, 40, 50 pound test. I use 90. I just overkill it. I use 90 and I just use less of it. The lesser the poundage, the more string you're going to need. So what I use, 90, well, first 45 times 4 would be 180 pounds. That's what it has to be able to hold. Okay, this might be showing backwards. This may not be helping, but I'll have something up in the corner for you to look at, which you'll be able to read easy. But 45 times 4, and I'm using 45 because that's the, I want to be able to use this string on all my bows if necessary, if I have to. But I do make strings for each and every bow. I usually make 2 or 3 of them for each one, in the event that one would snap. I've never had one snap on me yet, thank God, but you never know. So 4 times 45 is 180 pounds. If you want to really play it safe and times the 45 by 5, it's got to be the strength of 225 pounds of pressure. Okay, so when I'm using 6 wraps at 90, you double it, because I'm going around, I'm using 6 strands times 2 because it's being doubled. So 12 times 90 is 1,080 pounds of strength. So again, it's 6 times what is actually needed. Okay, so it's overkill. That's why my strings are probably never going to break. I could probably use it for 5-6 years. Maybe the average string you get about, I don't know, anywhere between 10 and 18,000. The string that I have on my first Falcon, I've got up to about, I don't know, maybe 14,000 shots on it, and it looks like the day I made it. It looks like I just pulled it off of, you know, my jig. And even at the nocks, you still have 90 times 6 is 540 pounds of pressure. So you need something that's going to, if you're really playing it safe at 5 times 45, 225 pounds of pressure. Well, I'm more than doubling that. So, well, it would be, yeah, 450 would be double that. I'm at 540 pounds of pressure is the strength at my knocking points. So it's overkill. I don't see why people have such a, you know, a poo-poo feeling or idea about using braided fishing line. I actually like it. Of course, if you have an older bow and it's not something that would stand up to fast flight string, you might not want to use this. So first, I'm going to show you my jig. Well, you know what? First, before we get into that, I want to show you how to start and end the servings. This is probably the most difficult thing to learn. So I'm going to take it here, and we're going to pretend that this bar here is actually the string. So after I have it on my jig and I want to start serving the ends, here's how I would start this. So let's do this. Let's prop this up a little bit. So I would take a little length of the string and I would lay it like this. Actually, I would wax the string so it actually sticks a little bit. And I'm going to, since I turn the string clockwise towards me, all my serving is going to be served that way, always. Because if I was serving the other way and then I go to turn the string to shorten or tighten it, you know, make the string a little bit shorter, what's that going to do? Well, it's going to eventually unravel. Because you're going against the string, so it's going to work against your serving. So you want everything going in the same direction. So here I go. I'm going to go clockwise with my string, and I'm going to go up and over that string. And we want to take it and we want to go at least 5. I go about 6 or 7 times. So here we go. Once we go about 5, 6, 7 times over top of it, then we lift it up, hold it with our fingers, and we serve right underneath of it. And we would just continue the serving as long as we want to go until we want to end it. And I'm going to show you how we would do that knot right after this. So we have enough here. So what we would do is we would take pliers. Okay, it would look like that because you would want to serve it nice and tight. We would take pliers and we would want to pull this. Pull it as tight as you can, and that would be it. That's how it would look. Okay, what we would do is we would cut this to maybe a little less than 1/4 of an inch, and then take our lighter and let it melt all the way down to the serving, and then dab it with our finger and seal it off. And that's how you would start it. Now, it's a little bit more difficult when we want to end the serving and tie the knot at the end. So I already started this one, just, you know, so we're serving the string after we've started the knot there. And so when we want to get to the end here, what we're going to do is we're going to take it, we're going to keep going, and I went over just like clockwise towards me, the way I would do it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go right underneath this D loop, and we're going to just do this kind of loose because we don't want to fight against it. You'll see why in a second. And again, you want to do this about 5 or 6 times, nice and loose. I like to overkill it a little bit. I'll go 6 or 7 times just for a little bit of added safety and pull. And then what we do is we want to, when we get to here, we're going to take this, go right under here. You don't have to go right under that one, but we're going to leave a little bit here because this is what we're going to want to pull. Just get this out of the way. So we're going to keep tension on this, okay, and we're going to serve just like this. We're going to keep wrapping it. We're going to keep, it's a little tough, but here we're going to have this loose on this side, and this is going to go counterclockwise and wind down as we go clockwise and finish this knot off. See how this works here? Hopefully. You'll probably have to play with this a couple times to get it right and understand exactly how it goes. Now when you get to here, like if you find this is here, what you want to do is just always reach under. You can keep going with it. Reach under and pull. And then when you get to here, you would get your pliers and you would pull this nice and taut. Boom. And that creates your knot right here. Pretty simple, huh? Well, try it a few times. You're going to see it's not as simple as it looks. But this turned out pretty good. So we would cut it, take our Bic lighter or torch, boom, hit it, get it melting, let it go all the way down, put our finger over it, and smash it right on into the rest of the serving, and you're done. And that would complete the serving from beginning to end. So I hope that that helps. There are, you can go right online and type in how do I, start the knot and end the knot for serving, and there's better tutorials than what I'm giving you. But I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So next, that's pretty good Peroni, 0.0 alcohol. I'm going to show you my jig. Okay, so this is it, nothing fancy. It's just a couple pieces of wood. Okay, I could make strings as long as maybe 75 inches if I wanted to. It's just anchored onto horses here, and this is where I actually started. I knot it, and then I go and wrap the string around these outer pegs that I put in here. You want it so that you can turn this so that you can do the serving nice and easy, and you'll see how that works as I build the string. But this is already pre-measured out, so it's 56 inches from the very end of this to the very end of this. And well, next I'm going to show you how we do it, or how I do it anyway. Well, sports fans, it started to rain out here. It was supposed to be a beautiful 71-degree day. Turns out it's cloudy and it's raining. I was filming this and I thought it was getting all this. I had completed the 2 different colors, tied them off. All my knots are on the one side, of course, because I do use finger savers, which I'll put on at this end. So this is, I did wax it because I was going to start the serving, but I'll have to wait. This will have to be something that will be continued. But sorry about that. I wanted to get more done today, but it's not going to happen. Lord willing, I'll be able to get this finished up in maybe a 3-part series. But this is where I got to stop. Anyway, God bless. Thanks for tuning in.